The vision of the shepherds.
The winter night requires our constant attention, watching that water and goodwill, warmth and well-being may still be there in the morning.
For behind the spontaneous joy of life, there's always a mechanism to keep going.
And someone like us is always there.
We observe that those who assure us their education and money would do us such harm, how real we are just as we are, and how they envy us. For it is the centerless tree and the uncivilized robin who are the truly happy. They have done pretty well for themselves.
Nor can we help noticing how those who insist that we ought to stand up for our rights and how important we are, keep insisting also that it doesn't matter a bit if one of us gets arrested or injured, but it's only our numbers that count.
In a way, they're right.
But to behave like a cogwheel when one knows one is no such thing.
Merely to add to a crowd with one's passionate body is not a virtue.
What is real about all of us is that each of us is waiting.
That is why we are able to bear ready-made clothes, second-hand art, and opinions, and being washed and ordered about.
That is why you should not take our conversation too seriously, nor read too much into our songs.
Their purpose is mainly to keep us from watching the clock all the time.
For, though we cannot say why, we know that something will happen.
What, we cannot say.
Except that it will not be a reporter's item of unusual human interest.
That always means something unpleasant.
But one day or the next, we shall hear the good news.
At the manger,
Oh, shut your bright eyes. The mind must endanger with our watchfulness. Protected by its shade, escape from my care. What can you discover from my tender look but how to be afraid? Love can but confirm the more it would deny. Close your bright eye. Sleep. What have you learned from the womb that bore you but an anxiety your father cannot feel? Sleep. What will the flesh that I gave do for you? Or my mother love, but tempt you from his will? Why was I chosen to teach his son to weep? Little one, sleep. Dream. In human dreams, earth ascends to heaven, where no one need pray nor even feel alone. In your first few hours of life here, oh, have you chosen already what death must be your own? How soon will you start on the sorrowful way? Dream while you may.
Child, at whose birth we do obsequy for our tall errors of imagination, redeem our talents with your little cry.
clinging like sheep to the earth for protection, we have not ventured far in any direction. Wean, child, our aging flesh away from its childish way. The meditation of Simeon.
From the beginning until now, God spoke through his prophets. The word aroused the uncomprehending depths of their flesh to a witnessing fury, and their witness was this, that the word should be made flesh. Yet their witness could only be received as long as it was vaguely misunderstood, as long as it seemed either to be neither impossible nor necessary, or necessary but not impossible, or impossible but not necessary, and the prophecy could not therefore be fulfilled. For it could only be fulfilled when it was no longer possible to receive, because it was clearly understood as absurd. The word could not be made flesh until men had reached a state of absolute contradiction between clarity and despair, in which they would have no choice but either to accept absolutely or to reject absolutely. Yet in their choice, there should be no element of luck, for they would be fully conscious of what they were accepting or rejecting.
Morristown.